Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on University of Charleston MSM Agent Summit 2020 Live. Our attendees are on the process of joining the webinar. In the meantime, on behalf of all of us in University of Charleston and MSM, I hope you, your families, and all your colleagues are all safe and well. We are seeing positive signs on the vaccine developments across the globe, and all of humanity is getting accustomed to the new normal as the pandemic is spreading everywhere, sparing no countries. You will learn more on how University of Charleston has catered to the new normal during these extreme times. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen from all parts of the world. I would like to thank you all for taking time out and being here today with us. My name is Jim George, Manager, Global Marketing Office, overseeing US institutions at MSM, and I'll be your moderator for today's webinar. I'm delighted and pleased to introduce today's facilitator, Mr. Matthew Mcniel. Matthew is the Assistant Director for MBA and International Recruitment at University of Charleston. A heartily welcome, Matthew, for joining this webinar. Before I hand over the mic to Matthew, I'll run through the housekeeping requirements that are needed for today's presentation and the Zoom webinar platform. So what's today's agenda for the webinar? Yes, you'll be hearing a comprehensive presentation on University of Charleston by our esteemed presenter. You will get an insight on the attractive scholarships, the careers of future, and highly demanded programs that University of Charleston has to offer. As a reminder, everyone is currently muted, and we'll encourage you to type in your questions and comments throughout the presentation in the Q&A session present in the control panel. Later on in the presentation, we'll have a brief moment for Q&A, at which point you'll also be encouraged to type in your questions. In case you're facing any technical issues, please feel free to drop in a message in the chat box. We will also be having a polling session during the webinar, so all our attendees will have to be attentive during the presentation. We'll expect your active participation during these polls. This webinar is recorded and will be posted on our YouTube channel afterwards. For those who have just joined in, welcome to today's webinar on University of Charleston MSM Agent Summit 2020 Live. So without further ado, let's start things off by welcoming our presenter. Matthew, over to you.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you so much for having me, and I'm very excited to speak with you all about the University of Charleston and the different opportunities and scholarships that we have that you might be interested in and hoping to get you on the right path to achieve your dreams and your goals. Something that I love about the University of Charleston is that we are a small school, and that's something that we pride ourselves in. We're very proud of that, and we want to keep that as a smaller school to make sure that we can give you the tools that you need to succeed and make sure that we give every attention to every student here at the University of Charleston. So hopefully this presentation will give you a glimpse of that and to kind of give you a sneak peek of what it would look like to be a student as you go and reach your goal. So Jim went over our housekeeping reminders here, and that's me. This is a nice little overhead shot of the University of Charleston, just so you can see how small that we are. As you can see, our campus is pretty compact, and that's something that's really nice, is you're gonna be able to have access to all of your classes and all of your facilities, the dining hall, the fitness center, everything is very compact for you. So that's something that's really nice. We also do offer residence halls, so don't worry about having to live off campus or stressing about where you're going to live. We do offer housing for every student who wants it, and the housing is on campus as well. So that's something that's really great, is you're gonna be able to have everything in close access to you. Charleston itself is a really unique city. So we are actually the capital of West Virginia. So with that, you're gonna have access to a lot of big business. So say if you would like to get an internship opportunity in town, there's a lot of big business. The capital is actually directly across from our lake here. So that's something that's really nice. We also have a lot of law firms, a lot of hospitals. There's a lot of big business in the capital city where you can get some good internship experience. But at the same time, Charleston is pretty small. We only have around 47 inhabitants in Charleston. So that's something that's really nice, is if you're kind of hesitant or maybe have some worries or some stresses about coming to the United States, You're going to come to a city that's going to be a bit smaller, a bit slower pace. We have a lot of greenery. Right now it's turning into fall, so all the leaves are changing into the beautiful orange and red and brown. And with that, you're going to have a really nice rural, small community with a lot of big city opportunities. So I feel that we are the best mix of big city with a small environment to really give you the best environment to succeed in. And as I mentioned, we have all seasons here from summer, fall, winter, spring. We're heading into fall now, which is my favorite, absolutely. Now, one thing you might be wondering is, how are we dealing with COVID-19? How are we protecting our students? How are we protecting our employees? And how are we making the University of Charleston safe for everyone to live in and to study in and to work in within this global pandemic? And you can see here all the measures that we're taking. First of all, everyone must wear a mask while they're walking on campus or through their hallways. You can take off your mask in your dorm room, and you can take off your mask when you sit down to eat with your food. But outside of that, masks are mandatory all the time, including the classroom. So when you're in your classroom and you're learning with your students, all students have a mask, and the professor is also wearing a mask too. So everyone is safe and making sure that they're protecting others by wearing that face mask. We do have an app that we use called LiveSafe, and every single day, every student, staff, and faculty logs onto that app and pretty much logs in their temperature and their symptoms to make sure that they're okay to come to work. And you have to do that app before coming to work or going to class. And that's a good way for us to kind of track how everyone is doing from a day-to-day basis. The next thing that we do is a temperature screen. So before students leave the dorm rooms, they leave the residence hall to go to class. We actually have a face scanner that scans your retinas, and it attaches your temperature to your ID card. So pretty much we have a track of every student, faculty, and member of what their actual temperature is day to day. So that's something that's really unique. It will scan your whole face to determine your temperature. It scans your retinas because, again, we're wearing masks. It scans your retinas and attaches your photo to your temperature, and that's our way of seeing how is our temperature on campus. If we see that there's a certain case where a temperature is rising each day, we can reach out to them and maybe ask them to quarantine for a couple of days. Everyone is physical distancing, keeping 6 feet apart. The dining facilities are also social distance. Everyone in there is wearing a face mask, all cook and servers, and every visitor must be checked in with security, and every visitor also has a scan. So right now we are very closed off to visitors. It's really only our students, staff, and faculty. If there is an important visitor that has to come on campus, they have to go through security and go through all the measures. So you can rest assured that we are taking every measure and every step here very seriously, and we are doing everything that we can to make sure that you live and study and achieve in a safe environment. So you might be wondering, what our academics look like. We have 30 undergraduate majors with 3 distinct graduate majors, and they're all on the University of Charleston campus. So that's something that's really great, is you're gonna be able to look into any areas of study on campus without having to go to different branches or different cities. You can do that all here. You can see our 4 distinguished schools, which I will go into, just a nice skim overview. We have a great School of Arts and Science that ranges from biology to chemistry to communications to psychology. We pretty much cover the whole umbrella of social sciences and general sciences. We have a really strong School of Business, which ranges from accounting, digital marketing, entrepreneurship, and financial planning. So there's definitely a lot of different business majors that you can look into, which feeds into our MBA program, which I'll go into in a bit. We also have a great School of Health Science and Pharmacy. We have a very strong nursing program, which is a BSN. So it is a Bachelor's of Science in Nursing. It is a 4-year bachelor's degree. So that's something that's really great, is you not only get the practical experience, but you also get the biology background as well to sustain your foundation. We also have really great passing rates with the NCLEX. The NCLEX is the test that you must take to actually practice being a nurse. So the BSN is the studying to become a nurse, and the NCLEX is the actual test to actually be a nurse. And we have really great success rates there. We also have exercise science and health promotion. Really unique to us, we have a really great radiological science program. So that's something that's unique that we offer, and we're one of 2 schools in the entire state of West Virginia to offer that. So our graduate majors, I kind of mentioned them previously, but our 2 biggest graduate majors, the first is our MBA program, which I work very closely with. We have 3 distinct concentrations. One is in management, one is in healthcare management, and the other is in business analytics. So depending on what career you would like to go to, you can concentrate in either one of those 3. So all students will take 8 core courses, and then 3 courses will determine your specialization. So that's something that's really nice. We do have a really strong job placement rate. All students within our MBA program are either working professionals or they're undergraduate students who just graduated and have internships. So you're going to be in a great professional environment with other students that you can learn from as well. And we do have a really great school of health sciences with a doctorate in pharmacy. So that's another great opportunity for you to go into if that's something that you're interested in. These programs, another thing that makes them unique is how quickly you can go through them. So the MBA program, we try to finish our students within 1 to 1.5 years. So that's a really quick MBA program. So if you were to graduate from high school, your undergraduate through the University of Charleston all the way to your MBA can be as fast as 4.5 years. We've seen it done in 4 years, but typically the path is around 4.5 years, being a freshman in college to graduating with your MBA. So that's something that's really awesome, is we try to get you through that program as quickly as we can. If you're wondering about admission requirements for the MBA program, we do require a minimum 2.5 GPA or above. We do require a professional resume that we look at to determine your work experience. And we do require prerequisite courses in accounting, economics, and statistics. If you don't have those 3 prerequisites, we do have short courses through the educational company McGraw-Hill that you can take before starting your MBA. So we do offer different opportunities for you to complete the prerequisites if you don't have a business background. So that's something that's really unique about us. And if you're interested about the School of Pharmacy, the School of Pharmacy does require a 2.75 GPA or above. And again, something that's very unique about our School of Pharmacy is we have a direct admittance program with our undergraduate students. So you can come in as an undergrad and be pre-pharmacy and start your track. And after your freshman or sophomore year, depending on your performance, you can automatically be admitted into the Doctorate of Pharmacy program. So you could finish your Doctorate of Pharmacy as an undergrad within 6 years, which is pretty amazing. That's very fast, very quick. If you already completed your undergraduate degree, but you're still interested in getting your Doctorate of Pharmacy, it usually takes 3 to 4 years, depending on the curriculum that you've taken. So regardless, it's going to be a very quick Doctorate of Pharmacy program. It's streamlined and it is very successful as well. So you might be wondering how to apply to the University of Charleston. So we'll just take some time going over our admission requirements. So we do require an admissions application, and Jim and Kushveer are really amazing of helping you with those questions that you might have with the application, with any supplemental items, getting your transcripts. They're really great and they are pretty quick. We do highly recommend that your transcripts are evaluated by a NACES member. So if you've heard of WEST evaluations, ECE evaluations, Span-Tran evaluations, we do recommend that you get your transcripts translated through that service. And that for us is just making sure that we get the best GPA for you, because we do have scholarships. We want to make sure that your coursework is accurate to what you've attained so you can get the scholarship that you deserve. We do require an English proficiency test if your school is not teaching in English. So if the mode of instruction at your undergraduate school or your graduate school is not in English, then we do require a proficiency test that can be taken by the SAT or the ACT, TOEFL, IELTS, or Duolingo. And we do require a copy of passport for I-20 purposes. And at that point, you would be working with Violetta, who is our Director of International Students. So you might be wondering, why should I attend UC? Outside of the different academics that we offer, the different things that we offer here on campus, we do offer a lot of great opportunities. Here.
Hi Jim, sorry to interrupt, but I think there is no sound for the video. Matthew, you are able to hear me?
Awesome. So it sounds like we might have had some audio issues. So if you're interested in that video, please reach out to Jim and Kushfir, and I'd be happy to share that video with you. So if you're wondering about outcomes of our academic programs, you can see our different facts here for you. But our nursing exam, like I said, that NCLEX is really important. We have a 98% passing rate on that NCLEX taken at the first time, which is extremely strong. And after you take the NCLEX, we have a 100% job placement rate. So that's something that's really amazing, is that you're able to take the NCLEX, have a 98% chance of passing it your first time without having to retake it again or pay again. And you'll be able to get a job right out the gate. So that's something that we're really proud of, and we're really esteemed of with our nursing program within Charleston and in West Virginia in general. And you can also see that just in general, we have an 85% job placement rate with all of our majors after graduation. So that's something that's really important, is that you're going to be able to take what you've learned, whether you stay in the United States or go back home and use what you've learned to achieve your goal there. You're going to be able to really have a successful transition because of our academic success. So like I said, in the admissions process, we do have different scholarships that range within your different GPAs. You can see on the undergraduate side, we have scholarships that range from $4,000 all the way up to $10,000. And you can see the breakdown of your GPA there. And this is per year. So if you stay at the University of Charleston for 4 years, if you were awarded the $10,000 scholarship, that's $10,000 for 4 years for a total of $40,000. So that's something that's really great, is we try to make our UC education as affordable as possible. We do offer scholarships for the graduate program as well. So it's a 3.5 GPA or above to get a $3,000 scholarship, and the range from 2.5 to 3.49 is $1,500. So I think that's something that's really unique. A lot of graduate schools don't offer scholarships. So a lot of it, they just charge tuition based off of credit hour. So it is very unique and special for us to offer scholarships for our MBA program and different types of graduate programs as well. So like I said, we are a very small school. We have a 14-to-1 student to teacher ratio. So you're gonna be able to know your professor really well. The professor is gonna know your name. I had a lot of friends who went to bigger institutions within the States, and they would have like a clicker with a number attached to the clicker. So that's how they checked into class. They would go into this very large auditorium. They would click and number 78 would pop up, and that's who they were. And that's something that we want to shy away from. We want to make sure that we know every student from a case-to-case basis. We know everyone personally, and you're going to have direct access to all of your questions to make sure that they get answered. We have a lot of different student organizations as well. We have above 30. So there's different opportunities on campus to get involved outside of just academics. So with this, with a small class size and a lot of different campus organizations that range from academic societies to different clubs, different intramural sports, you're going to be able to get connected through our network fairly quickly. So it looks like we have a poll slide. Jim, would you like to help us out with this poll slide?
Yeah, so this is our poll time. I'm going to share the poll questions. I have launched the poll. I hope the poll is visible to all our attendees. So the first question is, how many years does a student take to complete an MBA program if they join University of Charleston after completing their high school? So did Matthew mention it takes 6 years? Or did he mention it takes 5 years? And did he mention it takes 5.5 years? Or did he mention it takes 4.5 years? I would request your active participation by answering these questions. The second question is, what is the maximum scholarship available to students applying for an undergraduate program? So did Matthew mention it is $5,000, or did he mention is it $7,000 every year? Or did he mention, is it $10,000 every year accumulating if the student is doing an undergraduate program to get up to $40,000? Or did he mention, is it $12,000? And the final question is, what is the minimum GPA requirement on a scale of 4 for getting admitted to the School of Pharmacy? So was it mentioned a 2.5 GPA on a scale of 4? Or was it mentioned a 2.75 GPA on a scale of 4? Or was it mentioned 3 GPA on a scale of 4? Or was it mentioned a 3.25 GPA on a scale of 4? So I'll request your active participation. I've seen about 30% of them have voted. So I'll request, I'll give you another 10 seconds more for you to vote. So please do vote and let me see how the answers are. Yes, so I'm going to end the polling now. I'm going to share the results. Yes, so I've just ended the poll and I'm sharing the results. So 83% of them have told the right answer, that it will take 4.5 years. That is, you save nearly 1.5 years. That is, you save 1 year's complete tuition fees and living and boarding fee, as well as nearly 1.5 years fee, which is very very feasible in terms of your financials. So 83% of them have given the right answer. 67% of them have given the right answer that $10,000 is the maximum scholarship a student can get. And 33% of them have given the right answer, telling it's 2.75 GPA on a scale of 4 that is needed to get admitted to the School of Pharmacy. So thank you so much for your participation in the polls. And Matthew, over to you to take the presentation forward.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jim. And great answers. You guys are paying attention, and that's great. And just to clarify again, it looks like there was some question or muddiness about the pharmacy GPA. The pharmacy GPA is a 2.75. So the MBA has a 2.5, and the pharmacy has a 2.75. So just to make sure that I've communicated that clearly for you. So you can see our different type of living options here. Again, like I mentioned, we do offer housing for any student who would like to live on campus. Being an international student, I would highly recommend that you do this. It just makes things really easy adjusting to the States. Also, a lot of international students are already in the residence hall, so it's a great way for you to get to know someone else and get to connected to that community. But also a large portion of our domestic students live here as well. So it's a really great way for you to get connected and be friends with a lot of different people on our campus. This is some examples of what we've done in the past. We were unable to do this because of the national pandemic, the global pandemic that's going on right now. But we usually have something called Eagle Fest, which is the first week of classes. It's an orientation for all students. So throughout the week, we have different orientation events, different type of sessions that you can listen to get you adjusted to college life. And at the end, it's just a really great big celebration, and you can see the different type of events that we have. Like I said, we're right by the water of Charleston. So a lot of people like to paddleboard or kayak, which is really great. And there's just a lot of different fun activities going on. We have a really beautiful green lawn next to the water that a lot of our students really enjoy. We do have very strong athletics. We do have a really great soccer team for one. They've won the D2 soccer championship 2 out of the past 3 years. So we're very great at that. We have really great football, basketball, volleyball, a lot of different opportunities for you to cheer on the Golden Eagles. And since it's D2, it's going to be pretty competitive competition as well. So it's really fun to spectate those. If you're wondering about how you're eating or staying hydrated, we do have 2 different types of options here on campus. The first is kind of a cafeteria. It is a dining hall. So you'll walk in, you'll swipe your key card, and there's different buffet stations where you can go ahead and get as much as you want. And then at the bottom photo there, that's the photo of our grill. So that's more of a main dish, a side dish, and a drink. So if you just wanted like a hamburger with fries and a drink, you would go there. But if you would like kind of a smorgasbord of food and a lot of different buffet options, you would go to the cafeteria for that. And we do have something called the Coffee Tavern. We do have a Starbucks in there to make sure that you're staying caffeinated and awake throughout your entire weeks here on campus. But that's a great option that we have with different seating as well. We do have a fitness center, and that's something that's really nice, is that it is free for students. So you do not have to pay to go to the fitness center. It's already included in your tuition and in your fees. And your ID card, which also works as your meal plan, will get you into the fitness center as well. During COVID, we do have different hours. So rest assured that we are keeping the fitness center safe. We have a 2-hour block in between the morning and the afternoon for deep cleaning. We are capping how many students can be in the fitness center at one time, and all students must wear a mask while working out. So again, you only take off your mask if you're really in your room or you're sitting down to eat. These are different platforms on our different social media, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. So if you're more than welcome to follow us, if you have any questions, you can reach out to us on that platform. You can email us. You can contact Jim or Kushfir and they'll get in contact with me. Or if you just would like to see more photos, you can definitely go ahead and follow those accounts.
Sure. Thank you so much, Matthew, for this wonderful presentation. We already have a number of really interesting questions that we hope to get to touch base on, at least.
Sure.
The first one is, what are the on-campus job facilities that international students get?
Yeah, so we have, I've mentioned her name before. Her name is Violetta. She's wonderful. She's the director of international students. We also have a gentleman on campus, Travis, who is in charge of all internship opportunities. So they work together to make sure that your OPT, any opportunities that you would look through to get an internship are covered. So we do have different departments on campus. So say, for example, like the fitness center, if you wanted to work at the fitness center and kind of man the desk there, you could do that. If you wanted to be a teaching assistant for a professor, say like there's a biology lab class and you would want to be the lab tech for that, there's an opportunity for that. But if you're wanting to work off campus, we would definitely get you connected. Like I said, there's a lot of different big businesses, from law firms to government agencies to hospitals. And we would make sure that Violetta and Travis would make sure that your paperwork is all settled to make sure that you can study and do an internship there. So there's a lot of different opportunities, and Violetta and Travis will work with you personally to make sure that you get an internship that works for you.
Sure. Thank you so much. There's another question that's just come. Now, a student who's completed a diploma in 3 years of nursing, will they be eligible for getting transferred for the nursing program? And what would be the process of getting being a registered nurse in US, and how does University of Charleston help in that?
Yeah, so to apply for our nursing program, you actually just apply for the University of Charleston and you would gain general admittance. So you're a UC student and you get accepted, you have a UC acceptance. Your application then is transferred to the nursing department and they would look at your application and all the courses that you've taken to determine if you're accepted into the program. If you have completed a nursing degree or if you've completed a lot of nursing courses, they could probably determine that your classes can transfer over to our nursing program. If that is the case, then you would not need to take the nursing prerequisites that we require. That could be fulfilled, but again, the nursing program would make that call. But pretty much they would look at your transcripts and say, yes, they've taken these courses, that transfers over for us. And then you would just go ahead and jump into the nursing program. And again, they would determine at what year you transfer in. So they would determine if you just started, it's your first year of nursing, or you know what, you've taken a lot of nursing courses, you can come in at the halfway point. So that's something that the nursing department would determine. But I would say if you've already taken a lot of nursing classes, if you gain general admittance into the university, then your classes would be able to transfer over. In terms of becoming a registered nurse within the States, like I said, the NCLEX is absolutely important. And like I said, we have a 98% pass rate taking that the first time. And after completing the NCLEX, we have a 100% job placement rate. So as long as you take the NCLEX and you pass the NCLEX, you get your license, and we have 100% success of getting our students jobs within the US. So that's kind of the biggest part of becoming a nurse in the US is that NCLEX test.
Sure. Thank you so much for that detailed explanation. Now, the next question is, can students who have done their undergraduate program in pharmacy get admitted to the Doctor of Pharmacy program? And what are the prerequisite requirements and what is the admission procedure for the Doctor of Pharmacy program?
Yeah, absolutely. So very similar to the nursing program that I just described. The pharmacy program would look at your pharmacy transcripts that you've taken and determine if it transfer over and at what time. if you have completed an undergraduate in pharmacy, that's definitely something that they look at if you're wanting the doctorate of pharmacy. So that's a good first step. And again, as long as you have a 2.75 or above, you would meet the GPA requirements. They would just look at your transcripts to make sure that you have the background and prerequisites that they would want there from different biology and chemistry courses. And they do require the PCAS, which is a separate test. So if you've heard of the MCAT for going to medical school, the PharmCAS is kind of a similar test for that. But you would take that after you would gain admission. They would just want to see a certain percentage score on that test.
Yeah, so for that admission process, there would be a one-on-one interaction with some delegate from the Doctor of Pharmacy department, which will help the students to gain their admissions.
Correct, yes. Mm-hmm.
So the next question is, do we require an ACT or an SAT or a GRE or a GMAT to get into any of the programs, that is the undergraduate programs as well as the graduate programs?
Sure. So I think that's something that makes us unique about the graduate programs is we do not require a GMAT or a GRE, for example, for the MBA program. We just look at the GPA that you graduated with. In terms of an undergraduate student, we only need the SAT, ACT, TOEFL, any of those tests. We only need that if your mode of instruction is not in English. So if you've gone to a high school or a college that is certified to be an English-speaking school, or they've spoken in English the entire time, then we do not need the SAT.
Sure, thank you so much. The next one is, can you just give a little more insight on the Innovation Center and how that helps international students, especially to get that hands-on experience?
Yeah, sure. So we have the Innovation Center with two gentlemen who work with students. There's different facilities in there. There's a Mac lab where you can go ahead and use Mac computers, which is something that's really nice. There's a 3D printer, which is really nice too. So if you'd like to create something literally out of nothing, then that's something that you can do as well. But if you have a certain dream or a certain goal, say for example, you want to be an entrepreneur and say you have a really great idea for a new business, or you want to fight climate change, or there's a big idea that you want to actually see through, you can work with them, and they pretty much have connections with the city of Charleston, with really big businesses, and they get you connected to give you the resources to at least start your dream there. So the Innovation Center is really nice because it's our newest building. It's our newest classrooms. We have all the high-tech 3D equipment that you could ever want. And our professors pretty much give you the resources to get you started on that track. So that's a really great option that we have for our students if they would like to be an entrepreneur or start a dream.
Sure, thank you so much. The next question is, what are the accreditations that University of Charleston has, and do they have any specific program-specific accreditations? If you can just give a briefing on that.
Sure. So the University of Charleston in general is accredited by the Higher Education Board. So all of our programs are accredited to meet higher education standards. Our MBA program is in what we call candidacy, which means that they're in candidacy to be specially certified from a higher business board. So we are in candidacy. We're in the last stages of that. COVID kind of slowed things down for that because they needed on-campus site visits, so those were delayed. But I would say hopefully sometime by the end of next summer, maybe next fall, the business program would be specially certified by that higher education board. But our nursing program and our pharmacy program are specially certified. So that's something that's great.
Sure, thank you so much. Do we have any international students who have traveled for fall 2020? And what were the, if you can just give us a small history of their travel, how safe they are, so that we are welcoming students for January 2021, and
Sure.
we can get a better insight on that.
Sure. So we had, at the end of the day, we had about 55 international students who enrolled. And I would say half of those ended up coming to the United States. What we did is that our Vice President, Dr. Beth Wolfe, she was able to work with the registrar's office and the education office, and she was able to have the other international students do their work online. So that's something that was very different, is only some programs were available online, and they were mostly for domestic students. But now we were able to offer those classes online for those international students who could not come. So that was something that was really great. They did not need to withdraw their admittance or defer or anything like that. They could start their classes at their home, which is nice. For the other students who did come, they were very safe. We got them connected with their teams or friends that they might know, and we were able to really care for them. So to my knowledge, we did not have an international student return home or vocalize that they would want to go home. So we really took care of our students to make sure that they come on campus and they get adjusted and they get the support that they needed.
Sure. So thank you so much for addressing these very insightful questions that were asked from the attendees. And in case if any of our attendees do have any further questions, you can please connect with our admission executive. Her contact details will be sent in the chat box. And if you require anything in terms of assistance for the applications or any resources that you require for University of Charleston, we are ready to help you. So Matthew, I would request your closing lines for this webinar.
Sure. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate your time and being able to meet with us today. And if you're interested in going to the United States, but being at a school that feels like family, the University of Charleston is a good fit for you. We're going to make sure that you get in contact with the people that you need to for job placements, but then we're going to make sure that you're taken care of through your academic journey. We're not just going to care only about your grades. We're going to care about you as a person and make sure that you're safe here on campus, but then you're also growing into the person you want to be.
Sure. So thank you so much, Matthew, for this wonderful and insightful presentation. So before we sign off, we at MSM are very happy to see that MSM Agent Live eSummit 2020 live session has been a very informative and useful resource to all our partner agents, and would also request you to follow us on our Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube platforms to stay updated on our upcoming events. You can also visit our website, that's www.msquaremedia.com, to get further updates. So thank you so much for participating in today's webinar. We hope to see you again next time. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you so much.
Thank you.